Hey Kevin, how we doing? Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. How you doing, Garrett?
Not too bad. We're into March now, getting close to Q2, so weather's picking up, business, clients coming on board. I love it.
There you go. Almost done with the winter weather.
That's exactly right.
Uh,
Well, cool. I understand we have an exciting power session today on our QuickPay Direct offering. So I know it looks like we got the cash flow forecast pulled up there, so that's kind of I think good starting point. Show people how to get in there and access it and the benefits here.
yeah. So obviously, I think most people on the webinar today are familiar with our cash flow forecasting tool. So basically a way just to kind of see as a company how you're standing from a cash position, what your current cash balance is, what your inflows are, what your outflows are. I think anyone that's spent any time in the construction industry knows cash is always a pain point. So what we were trying to do with the cash flow forecast tool is really give you some insight in terms of where you are from a cash position today, but then also where you're headed over the next 13 weeks. And now what we're trying to do with QuickPay Direct is, okay, you've identified you've got this cash flow problem. What are the different levers you can pull to try and resolve it? So if you have a cash deficit coming up in the coming weeks, obviously you can call your clients, see if there's any payments that you can accelerate, get paid earlier. You can contact your vendors, see if there's anything that can be pushed out based on the relationships you have with your vendors. But every now and again, every contractor is going to be stuck in a pinch where it's like, hey, there's more cash going out the door than's coming in. Maybe it's not a bad thing. Maybe it's because you're ramping up. You've got a lot of work coming on that's in the early stages. So, what do you do when those cash crunches happen? And that's what trying to help contractors solve with the Quick Pay Direct solution.
I love it. Yeah, absolutely. Um,
Yeah,
so I guess, yeah, we got the cash flow forecast open. How would I go about identifying maybe where early payment may support my self-perform work and, keep myself in the positive?
yeah, definitely. So if you go down the bottom here and you can see any week with a negative net cash flow, you can just click on that. And what it's going to do is it's going to open a window that basically shows you some insight into that current cash position. And then maybe what are some invoices that would make sense to use that quick pay direct solution on. So what you can see here is over the next 4 weeks, you can kind of see what your cash balance is and the net cash flow for each given week. So I can see on this current week, I've got a negative cash flow. I've actually got a negative cash flow for the next 3 weeks. So that's pretty brutal. But then what I can do here is if I go down below, I can see a list of all the projects that I currently have a net negative cash position on. And these are usually the good ones that you want to start zeroing in on, right? That's something that we always believe is, yes, you always think about cash flow at the company level. But if you think about it, if you do a really good job about making sure you're staying cash flow positive at the individual project level, that's going to be a lot more manageable. And then when you aggregate everything up, you're going to be in a better position as a company. So I can see these projects here that I've got a negative cash flow position on. It looks like 24006, One Liberty Plaza. That's kind of the big culprit here. So I can see there's two invoices that I've got outstanding right here. This first one for 74,000. It looks like I'm going to get paid on March 12th. So that's only 2 days away. There's really no reason to use Quick Pay Direct on it. But the one down below looks like I'm thinking I'm going to get paid on April 5th for $60,000. That's a good one to use Quick Pay Direct on. So what Quick Pay Direct is once you've identified what that invoice is, you can basically submit it to us. And then basically what we'll do is we will fund 80% of the invoice within 24 hours. And then when the GC pays the balance of the invoice or whoever your client is, then you'll receive the other 20% minus the discount. So if I wanted to use that early payment on this invoice right here for that 60,000, if I select it, I can see what it does to my current cash position. It really helps on the week now. I'm now plus 22,000. So, all right, I said I'm in good position. For this week, I only really need to use QuickPay Direct on that one invoice. I can then come in here and request QuickPay Direct. And if it's the first time that I am requesting QuickPay Direct on a project, you'll be prompted to upload the project contract. The reason we need the project contract is we just need to make sure there's no language in the contract that prevents early payments like this with your client. And then the other one is just the approved pay app. So obviously, before we can fund anything, we need to verify that what you are requesting is legitimate. So just the approved pay app from your client that says, yes, I've been invoiced $60,000. The client has approved this. We're in good shape. You can then include your payment information, so your bank account information, where the ACH information would go. And then you're going to see a breakdown of the terms here. So I've got my invoice amount, what's getting held in retainage, what the outstanding amount is, and then the discount. So the discount is going to be based on when you will basically be paid by your client, and that last 20% is issued. And basically, it's based on the number of days it takes to pay. So for the first 15 days, it's 1.5%. So if you get paid by your client within 15 days, it's a 1.5% discount. If for every 15 days after that, it is another 1%. So I think based on this, we were saying April 5th was the projected payment date. So that'd be a 2.5% discount. So discount I would be taking on this would be $1,500 to receive that $60,000 within 24 hours. So you can kind of play with this here to kind of say, hey, based on when I actually think I'm going to get paid by my client, what that discount would be. Then you can kind of scroll down here. You can see what you're going to receive today. So 48,000 of that, 60,000 I'll receive today. And then the last 20% you'll receive at the time of payment from your client minus the discount. Agree to the terms and conditions and then submit it. And then basically what that does is that notifies us that you want early payment on this invoice. We will review it. If everything looks good, we will approve it. And within 24 hours, you'd be seeing that $48,000. So it's a really good way if you get into a cash flow pinch, whether at the project level, at the company level, to be able to kind of pull this lever to basically say, okay, I'm not going to use this on every invoice because I probably don't want to take a discount on every single one of my invoices, but it's a
Right.
really good strategic tool to kind of help you through those tough times when it comes to managing your cash flow.
Yeah, absolutely. So I noticed when you check that invoice, obviously the short-term cash flow went positive. Did that automatically add the 80% of that invoice?
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So if I hit submit here, which I won't do because I don't want to submit a demo invoice here, but basically what you'll see is if you go back to that cash flow forecast, you'll see that 80,000 or that 80% move up into the QuickPay Direct here. So you can kind of see in real time how that's going to actually help your cash position.
Perfect.
But yeah, that's the gist of it. I'm gonna launch a poll question for those in attendance. Obviously today we're kind of just going over the mechanics um, of how QuickPay Direct works. Usually, obviously, people whenever money is changing hands and there's financing involved, there's a lot of nitty-gritty questions to kind of go through and specific. So if anybody is curious about learning more, feel free to reach out to us. We can set up a time to kind of get more into the weeds. But this is something we're really excited about. It's something we hear a lot from our clients that, yes, it's great to kind of know where I stand cash flow wise, but really what you need is a solution to it. And not to say this is always going to be the right solution, but it's another tool in your tool bag that you can kind of always lean on if you do need to.
Yeah, I think the feedback from the clients using it so far has been good. And like you said, not every invoice you're just gonna, blindly submit everything, but I think it's good to identify which ones will really get you above water there. And
Yeah, and that's the contractors I've seen use it the best. That's exactly what they do, right? It's usually what they'll do is every project in construction, whether we like it or not, is probably going to start from a negative cash position, right? Before you're going to even be able to submit an invoice on a project, and certainly before you get paid on that invoice, you're going to have costs going out the door, whether it's to vendors, whether it's getting equipment on site, whether it's your own payroll cost. So using QuickPay Direct for those first 2, 3 months on a project to help you get cash flow positive on that specific project, it's a really good way to get you started off on the right foot. So you're not having to play that constant game of, using one project to kind of fund the next one, robbing Peter to pay Paul. It kind of is a way where you can kind of manage your cash flow in a self-contained way on each project and make sure each project is cash flow positive from the very start.
yeah, absolutely. And obviously not a lengthy process either. And in most cases you leave the money overnight, which is nice.
Yep. Yep. But yeah, that's all I got for you today, Garrett.
Yeah. Well, thanks for all the information. And if anybody wants anything further or needs a more in-depth live demo, we'd be happy to schedule that. And as well, we'll have this on our YouTube channel so we can, send it to partners or whatever.
Very cool. Well, appreciate your time today, Garrett, and I'll talk to you later.
Sounds good. Have a great Tuesday, all.
All right, later.